Hi, I'm Laurie Dobson, and this is Island Update. Today is Thursday, May 7th, 2020, and I'm on the island of Great Cranberry in Maine. So I'd like to continue with what I had discussed yesterday. I got into some feelings of trepidation and hesitation around, excuse me while I plug my phone in or I'll lose you. Trepidation around the return of people coming to the island and my feelings about that and how it'll all work when we mesh together. And also I was at the effect of a full moon, and it sometimes seems it's totally consistent with knowing that if I'm going through something and I ask Bob what the moon's doing, it's generally always either the day of or 2 days before or right at the day. And today, I guess, is the day of the full moon, but it seems to have broken. Some build-up emotionally has kind of happened, and I feel I woke up this morning really cleared out and drawing energy, positive energy, and I guess now more prepared to sort of understand some of the things that have been sticking for me. And a lot of it's to do with social interactions and what's going to happen coming this summer and why that's so important to me, why it's a sticking point. So I wrote about it, and then I tried to make more sense, and it's turned into a bit of a column. And I thought, well, how can I do that? Because it kind of is, it's pretty well thought through, but these videos have been, I think, better for my being spontaneous and talking about issues. So I could talk about what I was trying to get at with these 21 points I've made. And but I do encourage you to go on. It'll probably be posted on thiscan'tbehappening.net at some point in the next couple of days. And my last column about the liberation of Saigon was just published in CounterPunch, which is a very well-read and well-respected left indie media site. So I encourage you to go there too, CounterPunch. And then also I have a WordPress that I just started. I think I'm going to call it Captain Laurie. So look for that when I get that a little further on. But in the meantime, I'm going to be continuing these daily island update videos because I don't want it to get too mired into, too intense, and keep it folksy and colloquial, and but bringing up things that I experience that I'm finding to be tricky, keeping it real here, and my dogs will always do that for me. If you're hearing noises, they seem to think that they found a mouse, and I have not seen one, but they're scratching all over the place. I think it's a bid to get outside because of the warmth outside, and they want to get their noses into everything. So that would be the noise in the background if you hear it. So anyway, going on here, I'll just hit my punchlines and talk about why I wrote this thing. I started it by talking about, because I brought up the word hostility yesterday, and I didn't mean it to be as strong as that, but feeling concerned about the clashes and the island divisions and how they happen and why it's intense. And clearly, on an island, everything is drawn down to a more essential relationship with people because there's so few. It's so self-contained, and it sometimes seems to be more extreme. When you're working from the edge of a sort of frontier of an area, and those areas can be lovely because they nurture, singularity of joined minds, and they encourage independence of thought. Sometimes they can also have authority figures that want to use the occasion to, be a big fish in a small pond. And then you'll have other people maybe not liking that, but not being the type that wants to be confrontational and wants to get along. So you get a lot of both types. And then you'll get the types that defend other people's authority because they don't want to be seen as not going along with it. So, the popular opinion thing where you don't want to be seen not saying something that you need to be overheard saying, or how is that? You want to make sure that whatever you're overheard saying, it comports to the standard of expected behavior. And that happens here. And I've seen it and been subject to it. So one thing that happened last week was around the use of masks. And I had written something encouraging, and it was taken to mean something else. And I talked already about how things are taken differently by different perspectives. But sometimes people just get they're in protection mode around somebody they think that has been offended, or they think you've offended by your words or statements. And so without even really listening, we can jump on each other and attack. And, well, long story short, I had said something about masks, and somebody thought that I was, it was on my Facebook page, and I had said something on my video about, or somebody else, sorry, the Cranberry Isles information page. Facebook will get you in trouble for sure. But I said one thing one place, and then I put something that looked contradictory in another place. It looked like I was supporting somebody, but then undermining them with my comment about masks and their usefulness. And then they said, okay, you're trying to undermine this person who's the health officer, and yada yada yada, and I'm blocking you, and I'm done with you. And I was like, whoa, because I didn't at all mean to do that. But from the person's frame of mind, who knows what they've been listening to, and they've cultivated a concern with supporting, authority, such as the authority that they respect implicitly. And anyone that comes along to question, even if it's just a questioning for the sake of a debate or an idea about tossing some thoughts around with people to sort of understand and uncover maybe some of the best ways of going forward in something when it's unclear. And things are very unclear right now. So I had to take that and recognize that, I could get very sensitive to it. And I have shared that I'm sensitive to, being reacted to, being rejected, like anybody, concerns of the future and the past. And, staying in the present is where I have found it's the best place to be, and to believe that whatever somebody is thinking about me, it's not my business. And that is definitely a healing perspective. But it's also important for me to understand what my true motives are, my true desires, my true, considerations, versus just repeating what I hear and letting other people hold an authority position in my, without really checking it at the door, the things I'll post and the things I'll say. Governor Cuomo, for example, I've been very open about saying I respect him and his approach, his just the facts ma'am kind of approach to dealing with things. And it seems to be very reassuring to other people as well, that he deals with, the situation as he sees it on the ground. But then I find it contradictory. I'd like to believe, he just, well-meaning all across the board. But then I've read other things that people have said, well, he's not been good about Medicare. He's slashed it. He's trying to cut down education, building sites, and encouraging, remote learning as the new model for education and, medicine and all sorts of things. So we'll become more and more isolated. And I think, I don't know if that's true or not, but I have to be careful about what I believe, what I espouse, what I put out there. And at the same time, maybe it's enough for now just to say, subject, here's my current view, subject to more consideration or more understanding and more things being revealed. And in general, I think that's a healthy way to look at it, since we know so little, so much is happening that we have no easy remedy or handle on. And it's just important to hang in there and just stay open and considerate and friendly, kind, and particularly to allow other people to have a viewpoint that they're able to think through to the end, to follow their own conclusions and their own processes of thought. And I think if we can allow that in ourselves as well as others, we'll have a lot less pressure to conform or comport to expectations of others. And I think that's the unnecessary layer. And on an island, if you can be direct with people, you can say what you think and feel and not be afraid to disagree or have an alternate understanding. I think we all grow from that. It's a bit of a struggle because there's such a desire to have unity of singularity, but coming together with that intention to agree to disagree, agree to be different, it's almost better if we expect it. We don't expect a commonality of view. And actually, I think that is a strength of this island that I have found, that although you can't really get any one person or two people together that agree to the same thing, that doesn't particularly bother everybody, at least on Great Cranberry. But we're not as tight-knit as Islesford, and I think there's more pressure over there to conform. And believe me, I understand that kind of a mindset. When you've had young kids, when I grew up, my 3 kids in Connecticut, in Stepford Wife country, next door to Darien, where the movie was based on, it was all about conforming to expectations and, elitist expectations. And you as a wife are expected to do and be a certain way. And that was a really hard thing to adjust to at the time. I found ways and I cultivated friendships where there was more of a new age Enlightenment perspective on things, and found a way to kind of avoid the intensity of rigid expectations. Although my mother-in-law and that whole Greenwich, Connecticut thing. So I found a way to kind of go through a lot of different places, a lot of different mentalities, mindsets, and come out where I am right now. And I will just say it's all a mystery to me, but I respect the process, and it's interesting. It's interesting being here, and I value this time and learning more about people on their own schedule and comfort level. So I hope to keep it going. That's all for today on Thursday. Have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.